Hey y'all, good morning. Thank you for tapping in for some real talk from the heart this morning. We are reading through the Bible twice per year at 7 chapters per day. It's about an hour of reading, and we are on our second time through the Bible in 2022. And this morning's 7 chapters are Philippians 4 through Colossians, and then the first 2 chapters of 1 Thessalonians. Our real talk this morning is from Colossians 1 verses 15 through 18. Colossians 1 verses 15 through 18. And the theme this morning is Lord over all. He is the image of the invisible God. This is talking about Christ, right? The Messiah, the Son of God. He is the image of the invisible God. He's the visible image of the invisible God. The firstborn over all creation, the prototokos, man, the predominant one, the superior one. And he's over all creation, for by him all things were created that are in heaven and that are on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created through him or by him and for him. And he is before all things. He's before all things. And in him all things consist. All things are held together. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is the beginning. So Christ, right, the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in, right, the reason, the purpose is that in all things he may have the preeminence. And again, it's, right, the same word there, right, superiority, predominance, right. And so this morning we talk about Christ being Lord over all. Backdrop, of course, to Colossians is the heresies that were going forth, the Gnostic heresies that were going forth, mysticism and these teachings that were saying that Christ was not divine, but he was only an emanation of the deity, right, or even an emanation of previous gods. And of course, nothing can be further from the truth. Paul sets out here to correct this false teaching by saying that Jesus is the icon, right? He is the image of the invisible God. He's the express image. He was in the form of God, other translations say. And there's so many verses that really support this. I wish I had time to go into that. But our focus this morning is that he is Lord over all. Matter of fact, if you study through Colossians chapter 1, that word all or all things, man, it's on repeat, man. It is on repeat. He is Lord over all. In Acts 10:36, a very beautiful passage as Peter is preaching, he says, Jesus Christ, he is Lord over all. And as you break down Colossians 1:15 through 18, you see that he is Lord over all. Why? Why did Paul say that Jesus was Lord over all? Well, because he created everything. And when you created everything, you are Lord over all. You see, you cannot be a created being, which is what the false teachers say, right? The cults that go around door to door, knocking on your door, they say that Jesus is a created being, but you can't be a created being and be the creator of everything. Right, that's erroneous. He is Lord over all because everything was created for him. Right, and again, these are all the points that Paul's making here. He's Lord over all because he created everything. He's Lord over all because everything was created for him. He is Lord over all because he's holding it all together. He's Lord over all of his church. That's what he says there. He is head of the church. He is Lord over all the church. He's the one with the authority. And listen, if Jesus is Lord over all, right, then he's Lord over all of his church. But listen, the church that teaches that Jesus is not Lord over all, that church is not Jesus's church. If they're teaching you that Jesus is Michael the Archangel, if they're teaching you that Jesus is the brother of Lucifer, it doesn't matter what sign they put out front on that building. It doesn't matter what they go door to door telling people. If they do not teach that Jesus is Lord of all, right, equal with the Father, right, co-equal with the Father, that is not Christ's church, no matter what they call themselves. He is Lord over all because he is the beginning. That's what it says right there. Whom is the beginning? He is the beginning. Jesus said he is the first and the last, Alpha and Omega, beginning and the end. Where did he say that at? Revelation 1 verse 8, Revelation 1 verse 17. Jesus says it twice, that he is the beginning. So he's Lord over all because he is the beginning. Now, because he is Lord over all, he deserves, right, to be Lord over every area of our lives. He deserves to be Lord over every part of our heart. He deserves to be first place in our hearts. He deserves to be our first love, our master passion. He deserves that. If you and I are going to say Jesus is Lord over all, then he should be Lord over all of our lives, over every area of our lives, over every part of our heart. He's to be the first love of our lives, the master passion. That's the fact, right? That's the truth. And so we were created for him. That's what it says right. We were created by him and we were created for him. We weren't created for ourselves, beloved. We were not created for ourselves. In 2 Corinthians 5:15 it says, and he died for all. He died for all. Why did he die for all? That those who live, right? That those who live should no longer live for themselves. They should no longer live for themselves, but live for him who died and rose again. So I want to ask you a question. Is he Lord of your life? Is he Lord of your life? Or are you still living for self? You see, there are many church people who are trying to convince the world that they need Jesus to be the Lord of their lives when he ain't even the Lord of their life. Beloved, I'm asking you in love, and I always question myself even with this, man, who's calling the shots in my life? Man, who's the master passion? Who's the magnificent obsession in my life? Is he Lord over every area of my life? Or am I still living for myself? Or am I holding back parts of my heart for myself? Are there areas of my life that I'm not letting him be Lord over? These are things that we got to ask ourselves, man. We got to really look within inside ourselves and be honest. Because listen, Jesus is Lord over all. Lord over all creation. Lord over his church. Man, he's holding this whole thing together, man. And listen, he deserves that. He deserves that. And so listen, the biblical perspective that Christians should live with. Now listen, I want to just say this in closing. The perspective that you and I as Christians, if we're going to call ourselves Christians, right, Christ followers, the perspective that you and I live with is that, listen, Jesus is the Messiah and he is Lord over all. And that begins with ourselves. He is Lord over self, right, over us. That is the correct biblical perspective that you and I are to live with. That he is Lord over all, beginning with ourselves. Beginning with ourselves. The Lord loves you. Man, I love you too. I'm praying for you. I hope you're praying for me. And sorry, I had an incoming call. Cuz, I'll call you back, cuz I know you're watching right now. I'll call you back. I love you. The Lord loves you. I'm praying for you. Please be praying for me. And man, let's continue to read the Bible, man, every day. Let's not depend upon man for word. Let's get the word firsthand. Let's go to Jesus firsthand and sit at his feet. That's how you do it. And let's make sure he's Lord over our lives. All right, God bless y'all, man. Talk to you later.